Right now, right now. 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 Oh, I got a real good feeling.
We try to bring you high-quality educational and informational content every single day. Why do you think the price is having such an anemic time? The news story of the hour. Jump onto the chart. Is this the beginning of a massive financial unraveling? We got to add a little addendum to the show map today. So we start here on the daily. Now, we've been looking at the RSI on Bitcoin's daily chart for the last several days. It always has been, but it's been increasing over the last 50 years since the government has been. Hey guys, what's going on? Jeb here, and welcome back to Coffee and Crypto Live. This is your week daily morning show where we bring you the latest everything Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. And in today's episode, we are going to be talking about the major bullish breakout that is going on right now on Bitcoin. And we're also going to be talking about how the assassination attempt on former President Donald Trump may have impacted the price of Bitcoin. Going to be a bit of a different show. You know, unfortunately, political violence, as we know, it has absolutely no place in our country, but it does seem to have an impact on markets because right around the time that occurred, the price of Bitcoin started pumping. I've got some theories as to why, and so we're going to be talking about all of that and more in today's episode. I firmly believe that a major bull market is still in motion and that we are going to be rallying up towards $100,000 by the end of this year or latest moving into quarter one or early Q2 of next year. There is a $100,000 Bitcoin coming, and I think that's a very high possibility and probability. Today, we're going to be talking about the path to get us there, starting with looking at the story thus far, then looking at the story of last week because it was a major turnaround moment for Bitcoin, and then we will do our analysis on where we are this week and where that looks like we'll be moving over the next 3 to 6 months. If you came to this stream to figure out what happens next on Bitcoin, what happens next on cryptocurrency, and the most important question of them all in this market, which is how do I actually profit from this movement, then you found the right content, and I'm going to show you today exactly where Bitcoin's been and where it's going, and again, most importantly, how you can profit and succeed because of the events transpiring here in cryptocurrency, all the while learning something along the way. If you are new to the stream, I want to give you a warm welcome and shout out. Go ahead and give us a wave in chat. Wave in chat, give us the waving emoji. If you are new here, I want to give you specifically a shout out. Thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate everybody who's been tuning into the stream lately. Love seeing your smiling faces there in chat. Christina Orozco is in chat. They are first. She is first. Cynthia Dizon is first. Second. Bullish for Bitcoin's in chat. Crypto Mini Bike. Lucas is in chat. Alito is in chat. Al Bundles. Crypto Trap is in chat. Charlie Wiz is in chat. Queen. Crypto Torque is in chat. Said, good morning, Jeb. God bless you and yours. Shaq with the combo in chat. Schmedley B's in chat. Brother Bill's in chat. Crypto Stones in chat. And Satchet 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Al Niehaus also in chat. Said, good morning, E1, everyone. Happy Monday. Never seen somebody abbreviate everyone to E1, but that kind of makes sense, actually. All right, so we are going to start off by talking about the story photo of the century. You guys already know that this is happening. If you don't, then that rock that you're sleeping under must be pretty heavy because I don't know how you didn't see this yet. At approximately 6:11 on Saturday afternoon, we all will have for the rest of our life imprinted in our mind exactly where we were. I was with my mom, who was over at our house helping us to prepare for our baby. She had just left, and we were preparing dinner, my wife and I was, getting dinner ready and setting stuff out and helping get dinner ready. And Sarah, my wife's sitting at the dinner table, and she looks up and she says, Donald Trump's been shot. This video might get demonetized. And I said, what? Is he okay? I would have said the same thing if it were Biden, to be perfectly clear. This is not about politics. This is about human freaking beings. Now, you've heard a lot of the rhetoric about this. I'm going to give kind of a 2 or 3 minute synopsis of what happened in case you don't know all the details. I followed this extremely closely because this is going to be one of the most important political events of the century. Essentially, there was a sniper that posted up on the roof of a manufacturing building about 180 yards, 150 yards, 200 yards away from the rally that Donald Trump was having. Guy was a 20-year-old guy named Thomas Matthew Crooks. He got about 10 shots off in about 3 to 5 seconds before a police sniper retaliated and ended the situation. But in that time, Trump took, it looked like, we don't know for sure, it looked like 2 bullets straight to the cheek and one of them piercing his ear. The Secret Service dogpiled on him, as is their training. They're literally trained to be human shields of the president or former president. All former presidents have lifetime Secret Service protection. So they dogpiled him. Everybody posted up. The police sniper, again, ended the situation. I'm trying not to be too graphic here. And again, we're going to tie this into markets. I wouldn't even be bringing this up if I didn't think it had a bearing on Bitcoin, because that's the focus of the show. It does. Surprisingly, and actually, it does have a bearing on Bitcoin. So I kind of have to tell the story so that you know where we're going here. Anyway, Donald Trump got up, pumped his fist, said, fight, fight, fight. You could see him saying that. And potentially what might be one of the photos that will go down in history was captured. And again, you can like Trump, you can hate Trump. I don't care what your political affiliations are, but you can't tell me that that's not going to rally some people. This picture right here of Trump getting shot and standing up and pumping his fist like this. Photo of the century. Like him, hate him. I don't care if that were Biden, it would have still been the photo of the century. So a president getting shot, standing up and doing this, is probably the first time that something like that has happened since Teddy Roosevelt got shot right here and then finished delivering a speech. This is probably going to win Trump the election. Listen, I've got to be honest. This is the whole messaging that Trump's got right now, is he's got the whole strength thing. Dude gets shot, stands up 10 or 15 seconds later, and is pumping his fist and rallying the crowd, and everybody's chanting USA again. I mean, I'm going to be honest. I think the election's over if the dude survives that long. There are a lot of conspiracy theories floating around. Ultimately, I think what happened is a crazy guy that, by his own admission, he made a video right before he did it that he hates Republicans, hates Trump. Hatred in his heart, again, would be just as evil, just as bad if there were a guy saying, I hate Democrats, I hate Biden. It would have been just as horrible. Again, this is a moral issue, not a political issue. The dude was obviously mentally unstable. But Donald Trump got up. Again, if this had happened, Biden had it, it would have been the same thing. Photo of the century. It's not about who it is. It's about the fact that this photo got taken. So here's the implication on this. First and foremost, this is a freaking travesty, and we need to make sure that we understand that first and foremost. 2 people are dead. 1 person is seriously injured. Trump is injured, although he's, quote-unquote, according to his team, fine. But 1 person in the crowd, who was a 50-year-old Christian named Corey, was shot and killed by the sniper missing. So, my heart first and foremost, before we talk about how this impacts markets, because that seems a little cold to talk about how a shooting impacts markets. First and foremost, my thoughts, prayers, and heart goes out to Corey and his daughter, who we saw posted something on Facebook talking about how much her dad was awesome. Her dad literally threw her and her mom to the ground and protected them and covered them with his own body. It's horrible what happened, but thoughts and prayers going out to that family. And I'm so disgusted that something like this would ever happen in our nation. It doesn't matter who's being shot at, right? This is horrible. It's absolutely disgusting, and I am very happy to see both sides of the aisle flat out condemning it. And there does need to be, the rhetoric does need to tone down. I would talk about politics more on this channel because I do have opinions, but it's so freaking divisive. It's so heated. It's so toxic that it's just not an area that I even really feel like stepping into without there just being so much toxicity. And I don't want to invite that into this channel because we're not trying to do that. That's not what we're here for. We're here for hope. We're here for positivity. We're here for making a really big impact in people's lives, and people just, pointing their pitchforks, or in this case, sniper rifles at each other is not helping anything. So the rhetoric really does need to dial down, and this is the biggest thing that we need to get out of this picture is not Trump's getting elected, although I think that, to be honest with you, this probably did win him the election. What we need to get out of this is that the rhetoric has got to dial down, because there are people that are being pushed to do, not it's still their fault 100%, but they're being encouraged by all this rhetoric to act this way. It's despicable, whether the left did it, the right did it, blue did it, yellow did it, red did it. I don't care who did it. The fact of the matter is, it's wrong, it's treasonous, it is murderous, and it is evil. And the rhetoric needs to dial down, and we need to remember that we are all one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We've got to go back to that. We've got to go back to the indivisible part. We've got to go back to the under God part. We've got to start treating each other like human beings and stop being so evil to one another. So now that I've got that out of the way, I'm not going to go on and on about that because that's not the point of this stream. The point of this stream is this rally that we're witnessing right here. But I had to mention what happened on Saturday because of the timing. If you look at the timing here on Saturday, this rally began the same hour that Trump got shot. Listen, again, that's why I wanted to put my thoughts, my prayers, my condolences out there to the family, because in no way do I want to make it out to be like this good thing that somebody got. This is a horrible thing that happened. However, I cannot, in good conscience, not tell you what caused this rally because that's my job. And it seems like this is part of what led to the rally. At the rally, the other kind of rally, the Trump rally, Trump was fired at, if I recall the details correctly, at 6:11 in the afternoon. Now, the rally had already been pumping a little bit, but it started to pump right here. He was shot on this minute. If I recall correctly, it was 6:11. Somebody can correct me on that. The news started coming out a few minutes later, and we saw this rally just a few minutes later. Of course, I mean, it happened on live television, but people started getting the reports about 10 to 15 minutes later. I heard about it at 6:30. It had happened 19 minutes earlier. So I found out about it minute by minute here. I found out about it right there, the second blue line. So in that time, you know, some people found out about it a few minutes before us, and the market pumped. So we've got to ask ourselves, why did the market pump? Again, I'll say it for a fifth time, my condolences to the family of the man that, the innocent bystander who was killed. So why did this pump? This goes back to politics. And like I said, I try not to venture too far into politics because it is so divisive. Guys, one of the YouTube channels I ran before the CryptoJib YouTube channel was a political YouTube channel. Like, I definitely have political beliefs, and you can probably guess what some of them are, being a Christian. But the fact of the matter is, this had an impact on the market. It is almost undeniable that this is one of the things that drove the market to move. Why? Biden is not good for crypto. Again, like him, hate him, I'm just talking about one area of policy. Biden does not like the cryptocurrency space, and he has not been good for the cryptocurrency space. And that's not just my opinion. That is the opinion of pretty much everybody on both sides of the aisle. Trump is the most pro-Bitcoin candidate that we have ever seen in the history of the entire United States of America. Obviously, that doesn't go back long. Bitcoin's only 15 years old. But other than RFK, who has no chance of winning, he's at like 8 or 9% in the polls. This guy, being pro-Bitcoin and getting shot and doing this and saying, fight, 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 USA, USA, probably just got him another like 5 million votes. I mean, left, right, center, up, down, backwards, forwards, I don't care. How do you not see that? If the dude survives and lives, at the same time, the Biden campaign and pretty much all the Democratic campaign have taken down all of their stuff against Trump, like coming after his character, because they're like, oh crap, we can't do that now. So they've got to rethink how they're going to go about the entire election. So here's the thing. If Trump wins, he is going to be pro-Bitcoin. He's made that very clear. Trump also survived. He's, quote unquote, to use his team's term, fine. And he's on the way to the RNC right now to receive the nomination. And in a couple of weeks, on I think July 27th, so 12 days from now, he's going to be in Nashville for the Bitcoin conference. He's still going to be there. He's still going to be speaking. And so when you have the most powerful individual on the planet, human, other than the Lord himself, when you have the most powerful human on the planet speaking at a Bitcoin conference, probably going to get elected. And this news just made it a lot more likely that he's going to get elected. Then yes, that is where you see the bullishness coming in on Bitcoin. So we cannot neglect the fundamentals here. The fundamentals are that a former president got shot, got an incredible photo op out of it. Again, horrible thing that happened. In no way was this a good thing. But I tell you what, this picture is probably going to win him the election, and Trump knows that. Right? Just being honest, just being realistic. That doesn't mean we're happy that it happened. I wish that photo had never had a chance to be taken, but now that it has been taken, it will probably help him win the election. And people realize that Trump is good for Bitcoin. Like him, hate him, agree with him on anything, I don't care. We're talking specifically about one vertical of policy here. The guy likes Bitcoin. He's a fan of Bitcoin. He's made campaign promises to promote Bitcoin. Biden and his administration have not done that. They've been very anti-Bitcoin, very anti-cryptocurrency. And so, with it becoming more likely that Trump is going to win, that has led to a rally on Bitcoin. That is not the only factor that has impacted the price of markets, though. The United States S&P 500 has also been setting new all-time highs, and as we know, Bitcoin follows the United States S&P 500. Bitcoin has been tracking with the S&P for a very long time because Bitcoin is almost ancillary to the S&P 500. It tracks with the S&P and the Dow Jones and the United States stock market more than it tracks with gold, which you might think is weird because Bitcoin is more like gold than it is like stocks, but people buy Bitcoin for the reason that they buy stocks rather than for the reason that they buy gold. They buy Bitcoin not just to beat inflation, but they buy Bitcoin because it is an industry that is growing. Whereas with gold, the mining industry for gold has obviously gone through some growth, but it's nowhere near as popular as Bitcoin. And people think about Bitcoin more like a stock than they do like gold, to be honest with you. Again, it is fundamentally closer to gold, but from a cultural standpoint, it acts a lot more like a stock in that people are buying it for the long run, and it's extremely popular. And so the United States S&P 500 going into a rally has been very bullish for Bitcoin as well. There are a confluence of factors right now that are impacting the market as well. We've also got the Dixie crashing. So we've got a lot of things going on right now that were already predisposing Bitcoin to a rally before the assassin attempted to, end Donald Trump's life on Saturday. And so all of these things are coming together to create this upwards trend. And so we need to analyze what has happened, what's happened recently, what's going to happen next, and where we're going. Longer term, 30-second TLDR. We've been in a bull market for the better part of 2 years. Bitcoin in that time rallied over 380%, almost 400%. Bitcoin has not had a greater than 20% corrective movement, so it needed that. Bitcoin has also only corrected for over 90 days one time, so it needed a longer correction. We have so far dropped 27%, which was the kind of correction that Bitcoin needed, and now we are primed and ready for a potential uptrend to start. In the shorter term time frame, we built what's starting to look like a left shoulder here. At the time, it was a bear flag that pointed us lower, and that's how we predicted that Bitcoin would go down to between $49,000 and $53,000 back a few weeks ago. But right now, it's turning into a left shoulder because now we've got a head here. If Bitcoin does reject from where we are right now, like literally right now, Bitcoin's already built the entire head. If we reject right now, then it actually is in the favor of the bulls. So the cool thing about what happens next here is that whether Bitcoin breaks through this current resistance that we're eyeing here at about $62,900, whether Bitcoin breaks through that or not, it's still bullish either way. Because if Bitcoin does break through here and then come back and backtest and continue rallying, great. We built an inverse head and shoulders pattern that's angled up. That's an exceptionally bullish form of an inverse head and shoulders pattern. If Bitcoin rejects right now and falls a couple $1,000s, then we built the inverse head and shoulders pattern, and that inverse head and shoulders pattern gives us a price target of about $5,000 to the upside, which, if you'll recall, is our all-time high. You see that? Right there to right there. Bitcoin is roughly half of the way back to all-time high. From the bottom to where we are now, we've rallied $9,400. To get from where we are right now to the all-time high, we'd have to rally about $10,900. So we're roughly halfway there. And so what we see here is a setup where whatever happens can actually be very bullish for Bitcoin. And so that gives us a great degree of confidence that the uptrend may be starting right now. So let's read a little bit of chat. I'll let you know about one of our sponsors, and then we will keep it moving here. I really appreciate all of you guys tuning in. Let's see. Rick4962 is in chat. People of Purpose in chat. Rolando Lima is in chat. Shadrach Frost in chat. Good to see you guys. Really appreciate all of you for tuning in. Jerry Smith's in chat. And guys, also, here's the other thing. Somebody said divine intervention in chat. I think that God did have his hand on that situation, protecting Donald Trump. Trump at the very last second, I saw a video that somebody shot in the crowd from behind Trump, and you can see it. As the shooter is pulling the trigger, he's facing this way. He turns his head that way. Literally, as the shot's going off, now you can't hear it yet because there's a delay because of the speed of sound, but literally, he turns his head, and about a quarter second later, it pierces his ear. If you put your hand behind your head right here, put your hand behind your head, don't move it, and turn your head. You'll notice there's a gap between your hand and the back of your head now. That gap is where that bullet was going to pass through. It would have hit him in the back of the head. He turned his head at the very last second. It was a, again, he's very lucky to be alive and very blessed to be alive. Let's see. Let's read a little bit of chat here. Let's see. Jeremy Shorter's in chat. Come on, Jeb. CNN said he was moved off stage because of loud noises. CNN wouldn't mislead me. CNN is a load of nonsense for saying that. I saw that post. If that's true, again, there's a lot of misinformation going around right now. But if that's what's going on, that's very obvious that they're trying to cover it. You can't do it. Everybody knows what happened. It was moved off stage because of a loud noise. Yeah, a loud noise that came out of a rifle. You know, I love guns. I got nothing wrong with guns. I do have something wrong with crazy people having guns. And that guy was a crazy person and never should have had a gun, right? The gun didn't do it. That guy did it. But yeah, absolutely not. Absolute freaking nonsense. The kind of stuff that's coming out from some people is maddening. It's like, if this were Biden, I would be just as upset. This is not about politics. This is about us having a peaceful nation. This is about us being one nation under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all. Those thoughts, those words were planned out very carefully, because this kind of thing has no place in a nation that is one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. There's no place for this kind of nonsense, whether it's at the left or right or anybody. It's absolutely disgusting. Anyway, again, not the point of the stream, but had to say something. All right. Let's see. Nunya Beeswax is here. Good to see you. Bjorn is in chat. Good to see you all. All right. I want to let you guys know really quickly about one of our sponsors, NordVPN. Guys, NordVPN is so great. I actually just coached one of you guys on how to get NordVPN, and it's absolutely incredible. NordVPN is so simple because it does so much for you. NordVPN does so much for you. And what it does specifically, in fact, I'll even show you here. You can kind of see in my NordVPN here. NordVPN is great, right? It's great because you can connect to servers, and it will allow you to reroute your traffic. You've got all kinds of tools in here. You can come into your threat protection, and you've got web protection, ad blockers, malware blocker, web tracker blocker, URL trimmer. It's going to protect you from the files. I'm just going to check here and make sure I don't show something I shouldn't. But you've got the dark web monitoring. Again, I'm not going to show that right now because it's got some personal information, but it will show you if any of your information gets leaked. It will show you if some of your information gets leaked and there's a data breach. When Ledger had their breach, NordVPN told me about it. I saw about it, and it's here in NordVPN. NordVPN is not just a virtual private network. It is also a great place to, do all of your security needs. And there's also another product that they've got, which is incredible, which you're going to be hearing more about over the next several months, because NordVPN loves us. We're going to be renewing our contract with them. NordVPN has Incogni, which is a great product, which will search the entire internet to see if your information is anywhere out there, and then they will do the work themselves automatically to get it taken down, so that all these data brokers and thieves cannot get your stuff. They cannot see your information anymore. NordVPN is the place you need to start to secure yourself. Everybody ought to have it, and you ought to have it on pretty much at all times. So make sure you sign up for NordVPN with the link in the description box down below, or by going to nordvpn.com/Jeb, getting a 2-year plan. When you get a 2-year plan, you can get it for $93 because you get 4 months free from us. Again, we had a coaching client. I walked them through how to get NordVPN set up. It's $93 for 2 years of protection. Come on. If that blocks one hacking attempt, it could save you from losing tens of thousands of dollars. So make sure you sign up for NordVPN with the link in the description box down below. We're going to read chat here for a couple of minutes as I take a little bit of a sip of my coffee. It is coffee and crypto after all. I got to ask, this is a vanity mug that I have from a long time ago. It was kind of given to me, not exactly. I didn't buy it. It just kind of came into my possession, but it was a joke on the stream, on the videos like 5 years ago. So who remembers this coffee mug? Who remembers this coffee mug? This is hilarious. I give it to my wife now. I used it today because I forgot I used to make jokes about it on stream. It says boss lady on it. I used to make jokes about it on the video. Which of you has been watching the channel for long enough to remember that coffee mug? I don't know if it's any of you, but maybe. All right. Are you drinking coffee again? I am for right now. I am going to go off of it again, but I tell you what, it has been a very hard season for us, just doing everything to get ready for the baby. It's been very difficult, and not that I don't need coffee. I started drinking it on a vacation we just went on, and I was like, you know what? I'm just going to drink it for a little bit, and I'm going to, cut it out of my diet again here after the baby comes. But at this point, I'm like, I'm going to spend all that time cutting it out just to know that when the baby comes, I'm probably going to drink a little bit of coffee just to keep myself up, because there was one time that our baby came that I was up for 72 hours straight. And definitely it's helpful to have a little bit of help in that situation. Anyway, let's keep it moving here. Enough about me. Bitcoin has been in an uptrend over the last 3 days. And now that we've talked about why we're here, I want to talk about where we're going. And then obviously talk about what we can do with that information. We have a 3 white soldiers formation that has printed over the last 3 days. These are formations that are very bullish, and they look like this. A white candlestick, a second white candlestick, and a third white candlestick. And you might be thinking to yourself, Jeb, that's not white, that's green. About 30 years ago, before computers were used for charting, candlestick charts were printed in the newspaper, and they did not have color. They were in black and white. And so the red candlesticks were black, and the white candlesticks were an outline were a black outline. And so you actually still have that option here, hollow candlesticks like this. This is how they used to look in the newspapers. You'd have a hollow candlestick right here, and you'd have a black candlestick right here. And the hollow candlesticks were white because the paper underneath it was white. And so they're called the Three White Soldiers formation because that formation is decades old, before color screens were invented and you could chart on a screen. So they're green. Back in the day when that was invented, it was called the Three White Soldiers. And so the Three White Soldiers have no lower wick or very small lower wicks, and they might have an upper wick because the market's moving up, but they don't really have a lower wick. It's indicating just kind of overall strength. And so that's what we're seeing right here. We're seeing a lot of strength coming out of Bitcoin. And that is showing up in all of our indicators as well. The MACD has been exceptionally bullish. We did have a bullish cross. We talked about this last week, but I also said I'm going to need to see some proof to see whether this is going to actually end up being extremely bullish. Of course, we had the events that transpired on Saturday that were terrible and will live in infamy, but they did paradoxically cause the market to move to the upside. And so that really, on top of the fact that the S&P was breaking all-time high, on top of the fact that we had a bullish MACD cross, led the MACD to moving very, very, very bullish. We were exceptionally bullish at this point, with Bitcoin trading at $63,000. We've rallied about $5,000 in just the last, just over the weekend. And so this is the first time in months that we have seen a seriously powerful bullish MACD cross happen under the zero line. Last time it happened was the 4th of May. The time before that it happened was the 27th of January. After our cross on the 27th of January, Bitcoin would rally 80% in the span of 46 days. After our cross on the 4th of May, it would rally 15% in 17 days, although the bull market was not ready to pick back up just yet. But it was bullish. And so we have a historical precedent to tell us the bullish MACD crosses below the zero line are very substantial. And even if you go back into history, you're going to find that again. The one before 27th of January was 28th of August, 2024. Following that one, we saw an 80% movement in 135 days. So exceptionally bullish event. If we average out the last 3 times that we saw a bullish MACD cross south of the zero line, then we will see an average rally of about 40 to 50% from the day that the cross actually occurred. If we were to see a 40% movement, that would be an $80,000 Bitcoin. If we were to see a 50% movement, that would be an $85,000 Bitcoin. And if we were to see a 50% movement, we see an $85,000 Bitcoin. And if we were to see an 80% movement again, that would be a $102,000 Bitcoin. And so there is a very strong possibility that this is the beginning of a new major uptrend. Lux Algo also comes into play here because of the very simple fact that with this break bullish, we've seen a bullish cross. Sorry, a bullish indicator. The last time we saw a buy signal on Lux Algo on the daily chart was here on the 15th of May, 2024. When all of these indicators come into confluence, you know it's important. Bullish MACD cross comes in here a few days later. We rally about 10%. The bull market was not resuming yet, but it did indicate bullishness. We saw confluence between the buy signal and between the bullish cross on MACD. We saw confluence between the buy signal and the bullish cross on MACD, and you can see what happened both times that occurred. We saw a major uptrend. And so we're seeing the same thing right now, although the one caveat is that we do not see trend catcher turning green just yet. We're going to need to have time for that to transpire. That being said, at the moment, at $63,000, we are above the trend catcher, which is this line right here. If it turns green, that is our classical CryptoJeb buy signal confirmation, buy signal, trend catcher confirmation pairing that we use to call uptrends and downtrends. If we look in the history of that, those two together predict the market correctly about 80% of the time. So if we do see a trend catcher green, if we see the trend catcher turn green, which would likely have to happen from Bitcoin rallying up to about $65,000, $65,000 to $65,500, then that's where we would likely see the trend catcher turn green. We'd have confirmation. And at that point, I'd be saying, yeah, we're going back to all-time high. We're a couple of days away from that possibly. And so we want to keep that in mind. Now, I also want to show you the CryptoJeb Oscillator, which got closed out of my chart, but I have it down here. The CryptoJeb Oscillator is an oscillator that I created in partnership with Lux Algo. They basically approached me and said, hey, we love you and we want to make an indicator with you. And I said, boy, howdy, that sounds awesome. Right? And so we created the CryptoJeb Oscillator, which is an oscillator that measures the strength of the bulls and the bears to print information about how strong the bulls and the bears are and where we're going next. And so the CryptoJ Oscillator is exceptionally powerful. It is my favorite technical indicator in all of analysis. I'm biased. I created it, but I do think it's extremely powerful. And you can get it by signing up for Lux Algo by going to luxalgo.com/Jeb, and only by going to luxalgo.com/Jeb. The only way to get it is with our affiliate link. So sign up with our affiliate link down below. Sign up for any of the Lux Algo plans, and you will be getting CryptoJ Oscillator as a free add-on. Now, the way this works, because you've probably never seen this before unless you've been on our channel, the way this works is that you've got the bullish momentum, and this is basically the depth of the gas pedal. Think about it like this. When you're driving a car, if you floor it, that's like the momentum right here being all the way down here. The bears are flooring it. They're moving very quickly. And so when we look right here, how do we get to the point of this saying that we're flooring it? Well, we've been crashing for 2 weeks. Right? That's how we got there. Now, on the other hand, when we see this momentum right here return back to zero, then that means that the faction, either the bulls or the bears, have taken their foot off of the gas. It's an oscillator. So when we see this line approach zero, it means the bears have taken their foot completely off the gas, and it immediately inverted to the bulls having their foot on the gas. You see, the bulls are gaining momentum, and they're gaining momentum quickly. And because the bulls are gaining momentum, and they're gaining momentum quickly, the speed of the bears is rapidly slowing down. Any strength that the bears had is disintegrating quickly. And this is kind of lagging for a reason, because, you know, for the next 2 or 3 days, Bitcoin could just fall over and the bears could come back in power because there's a lot of strength down here of the bears. But they're losing it, right? They're not gaining strength anymore. They're losing it rapidly. Very rapidly, they're losing their strength. It's an incredible indicator. So much, so dynamic. But you can see the bullish strength, this little line right here, is gaining as well as the acceleration. So the speed and the rate of change would be the physics term, right? The rate of change and the speed, the acceleration and the speed are both in play here. You've got the acceleration, which is here, and you've got the speed or the velocity right here. You can see the bulls are accelerating and they're continuing to accelerate. The acceleration is increasing. There's an increasing rate of acceleration, and the speed that the bulls have is increasing. Every day that passes, this is just going to get more and more bullish, assuming that Bitcoin continues to move in this direction. And that gives us this idea that the longer we stay bullish here, the more confidence and the more certainty we have that Bitcoin is actually bullish, and it's going to stay bullish. And so that leads us to where we are now, which is that Bitcoin has a real shot at creating a new uptrend. Bitcoin has a really strong shot at creating a new uptrend, and so we need to see a major uptrend form from here, because we want to see Bitcoin take advantage of this opportunity. There's a great opportunity here for Bitcoin to end up going to the upside, but what's that going to take? Well, as I said, the first thing is that Bitcoin is going to need to break above $63,000, which at the moment it's trying to do right now. It's going to need to break above $63,000, and it's going to need to see a buy signal confirmation from Trendcatcher moving to the upside. And so with Bitcoin moving to the upside, if it breaks through $63,000, that is where the Trendcatcher confirmation could come in, and that's when we would actually flip bullish. I am like 90% bullish right now. Still a little bit bearish just because I want to see Bitcoin start breaking some highs. We haven't seen Bitcoin actually break any highs so far in this entire last 2 months. We've seen Bitcoin just set lower lows and lower highs. If Bitcoin does break above $63,000 with some confidence, then we'll be setting a higher high. We really need to see that higher high to say that we're in a new uptrend, because otherwise this could just still be a bounce, a counter trend to the primary trend, which is bearish. So I'm not fully bullish yet. I'm not fully sold out for the bulls just yet, but we are getting close, and we will keep an eye on the market to see when that happens. Now, I also want to remind you guys that there are some things that we need to do right now. The first thing that we need to do is we need to be very serious. We need to be very, very serious about how we act in this market. You see, the market does not make you rich. The market does not make you rich. What makes you rich, what makes you wealthy, is what you do in the market. And so we've got to take some action. What are the actions that you guys are taking right now to build your wealth in this market? Last week, when I said now's a good time to potentially take out an extra cash position, put more cash in the market, did you do that? Over the last month that I've been telling you, now's a good time to start dollar cost averaging. Have you done that? I'd love to hear all of you guys and what you're doing to, I, if I'm single, we, if we're married, will invest X amount of currency into Y cryptocurrencies on Z cryptocurrency trading platform. So, for example, every Tuesday at 5 p.m., every Friday at 5 p.m., we will invest $100 into Bitcoin and Ethereum at a 66-33 split. So $2 into Bitcoin, $1 into Ethereum on Coinbase, on Crypto.com, on Binance, on Blowfin, whatever. That's our plan, and we're going to run that, and we're going to do that. And here's the thing. 90% of you guys won't do that. Now, 90% of you, I promise you, are not going to want to do that. Here's what you're going to want to do instead. You're going to want to say, I want to buy every altcoin under the sun. You're going to say, I want to I want to just screw around with the alts. I want to just buy Bitcoin here and there and everywhere. 90% of you guys are not going to do that. And it's going to be to your detriment, because that is the single best thing that you can do in Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. I've been in the market for 7 years. 2 weeks from now. 2 weeks from now, I will have been in the space for 7 years. I have done a lot in the market. I've traded, I've invested, I played with altcoins, I played with staking, I played with NFTs. I've done all of it. Right? I've done all the things. What I've found to be the thing that brought me the most returns reminds me of a video that I saw when I first got into Bitcoin. I've been in Bitcoin for like 2 weeks. And I saw a video. There was this guy who was standing on a balcony. I think he was in Miami. You could see the beach behind him. It's a phone video. And he's saying, you know, I've done all the things. He said the same thing I just said. He said, you know, I've been in Bitcoin since 2012 or something. He knows a lot of people. If I could find this video, I would, because it was very wise. I'm glad I saw it. I wish I'd have listened to him. Saw this video, and he's saying, you know, I've traded, and I've made profit. But what I've realized is over the last several months, over the last couple of years, if I had have just bought Bitcoin on a consistent basis, I would have made way more money than I ever made trading. And the guy was a trader. Like, that's what he did. Like, if I had been an investor instead, I would have made more money. Would have had a higher return. If I had just bought Bitcoin, this is back before Ethereum was huge. If I had just bought Bitcoin on a weekly or monthly basis and done that for years, I would be in better shape right now than I am now, because I tried to play the game. I tried to do this and that and this and that. It's simple. Buy it on a consistent basis. You want to build wealth. How do you do it? One word: consistently. Consistently. It's like, how do you cross a bridge? Carefully. How do you jump out of a plane? Carefully. Like, one word, right? Oh, well, no dip. Thank you. How do you build wealth? How do you invest? Consistently. Ruthless consistency. When I started this channel, the way this channel got off the ground, the reason that this channel has 250,000 subscribers, is because I made a video every day. It's one of the only things that was very consistent about my life. But I said, you know what? If I want to succeed, if I make a video every single day, I bet you it's going to happen. I have faith that if I do this one thing, if I follow the rule, the law of consistency, then I will succeed. And so that's what I did. For 8 months, I didn't make a penny. At the 12-month mark, I was making thousands of dollars a month, because it was nothing, everything. Now it's my full-time job, and has been for over half a decade. And so you've got to have the consistency. Set that schedule up. I'm going to poll, and I want you to be honest, because it's anonymous. Do you purchase Bitcoin on a fixed, consistent schedule? I want to see how many of you guys do this, and please be honest. Let's not skew the data. Let's be honest. So many of you guys don't want to do this because you think it's too simple. So many of you guys don't want to do this because you think, I need to go make it big in altcoins. So many of you guys don't want to do this because you're thinking, I need to go pick the next big meme coin. And you're lacking this. You've got to calculate the risk. See, what a lot of people do is they say, oh, well, if this altcoin just, and look, even the viewership's going down. I lose viewers every time I talk about this. For those of you that are tuning out, either you already know this and you don't need to hear this, or you don't know this and you really need to hear this, but you're choosing not to hear it. And I'm challenging you as one cryptocurrency investor to another, because I love you, that you need to humble yourself, you need to listen, because I know what I'm talking about. And the people in the chat can go off and tell you that it's the exact, that this is where we need to start. It's important. It's important. And so you've got to have the consistency. So do you purchase Bitcoin on a fixed, consistent schedule? 32% of you guys say yes. Honestly, I'm surprised it's that high. 65% of you say no. So for the 65, 68% of you that say no, why? Why not buy it on a consistent schedule? There are a couple of reasons. Maybe you're like me, where I've been buying Bitcoin consistently for 5 years, and that's like all I've done. So much of our net worth is in Bitcoin and Ethereum that I'm like, okay, I need to build out some other areas of our wealth, which is what we're doing. That's the only reason I'm not buying Bitcoin every single week right now. So that's a fair reason, right? If that's you and you've got like a huge amount of your net worth in Bitcoin and crypto already, then fine. And you're trying to diversify. Okay, cool. Cool. Otherwise, if you're in Bitcoin, and you believe in it and you have the money, then why not? Why not? A2 Drew said every paycheck, 1st and 15th. Love it. I love it. Good job. It's great. Every 2 weeks, not much, but $200. That's great. Run that for years. You're going to be so glad you did. This is how people become millionaires in retirement, and they're just loaded. That's why Granny's got so much cha-ching, buddy. That's why she's riding around that brand new Cadillac, man, because she and her man had been putting away money in a retirement account for 50 freaking years. She's loaded now. She was a school teacher, right? You don't have to make a bunch of money to be worth a lot of money. You've just got to invest on a consistent schedule. All right. So I made my point there. 2/3 of you guys do not invest on a consistent schedule. I would challenge you to do so. I would challenge you to do so for a year. Do it for a year. Do it with money you can afford to lose. See what happens. Listen, there might be a bear market in a year. Hold it for 7 years and you will be in a profit. Hold the stock market in 20 years and you'll be in a profit. This is countercultural, and I know it is. I knew when I decided to start preaching this message on the channel that it was going to be confrontational, and some people weren't going to want to hear it, because what people want to hear is, how do I get rich tomorrow? I know some people are going to say, Jeb, that's too simple. It can't be that easy. It is that easy. It's that freaking simple. If you want to build wealth in Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, most of you guys have full-time jobs. You don't have the time it takes to do all the research on all the altcoins. You need to do the thing that works without needing a bunch of work. You don't have to put much work into putting money in your retirement account. You just kind of do it because it tracks with the entire freaking U.S. economy. You don't have to put that much work into buying Bitcoin on a weekly basis. You sign up for Coinbase or Crypto.com, you press a few buttons, and boom, it's done. You just live like you got a little bit less money in your paycheck, or you go get a raise to fill it back up, and then you have wealth so that you're not broke, right? That's where I want you to be, is wealthy. And so with that teaching in mind, let's also see where we're going to go next. I believe that Bitcoin has a strong possibility of entering into a major rally here, up to $73,800. If Bitcoin does do that, then that's where we're going to have to contend with 73K. Here's the deal. Before we get back to 73K, I think there's a high possibility that the Ethereum ETF will launch. When the Ethereum ETF will launch, that will likely lead to a short-term correction. I am hoping that Bitcoin will go through a considerable amount of bullishness over the course of the next couple of weeks before the Ethereum ETF launches, so that it's in a confirmed uptrend before the ETF launches, so that Bitcoin and Ethereum have some room to retrace and still be setting higher highs and higher lows. I'm hoping that something like this will happen, where Bitcoin will continue to rally here. When the Ethereum ETF comes out, sure, Bitcoin retrace, but it will be a higher low than the $53,000 low that we just set, and Bitcoin will have set a higher high, so it's okay. It will just kind of get eaten as a necessary corrective movement in the overall new uptrend that is forming. When that Ethereum ETF launches, because it's been approved, it's going to launch, it'll probably also cause a correction on Ethereum. So I'm really hoping that Ethereum can rally up here to about $4,000 before that happens, and that is possible. That's about a $600 rally over the next month or so before the ETH ETF goes online. Could be sooner than that. However, I want to see Ethereum stay above 2850, which is our current bottom. And I also want to see Ethereum, if possible, stay above this uptrending level of support, which is right here. We've been analyzing this uptrending level of support for a very long time. If Ethereum breaks up above that and is able to stay above that, even if it corrects from the Ethereum ETF launching, then we're going to be good. After the ETH ETF launches, then the last major bearish event on the horizon will be concluding. A lot of the fear from the Mt. Gox distributions has already subsided, and so we will be in position to go into a major uptrend, even moving into election season, where there's probably going to be a good bit of bullishness from people hoping that Trump is going to win and be pro-Bitcoin. So stars are kind of aligning right now. This is one of those times where things are looking very bright for the next month, but I do encourage you to be cautious, especially if you're trading. Nothing wrong with trading, but make sure you're planning out those stop losses. Make sure that all trades have a written plan, a detailed plan. Even if you're going to be in the trade for 5 minutes, take a few seconds to jot down your plan. What's your entry? What's your exit? How am I going to, what am I going to do if the market just flash crashes? What am I going to do if Bitcoin just absolutely shatters my take profit? Am I going to ladder out of it? You put some stuff on writing, you have a bit of a plan, and you're ready to cover yourself. And so basically, that's where Bitcoin's going. I think Bitcoin is going to have a very bright next few weeks. And I think that if you're on the train right now, you're going to be glad you did. Just hold on tight and don't fall off, because Bitcoin is going to the moon. If you want to hold on tight to your Bitcoin, the best place to do that is Upholds Vault. See, Vault is an excellent program because it gives you essentially a backup in case you lose your keys. One of the worst things that can happen to you in Bitcoin is losing your keys. I know people that have lost their keys and lost hundreds of Bitcoin. They had them, 12 years ago or so. They lost them. This is a problem in cryptocurrency that we need to be honest about, and we also need to realize that there are ways that we can avoid it. By signing up for Upholds Vault, when you hold your Bitcoin in Vault, you use both of these keys to access your vault. Should you lose one of them, Upholds key can stand in the place of the lost key, and you can get into your wallet even without the key you lost, because Uphold can co-sign the transaction and assist with your key replacement. This is incredibly powerful because if you lose a key, you didn't lose your coins. You've ever heard the phrase lose your key, lose your coins? With Uphold, that law is broken. If you lost your key, you didn't lose your coins because Uphold stood in and built a new system that allowed for you to still get access to your keys. It's absolutely ingenious, so make sure you sign up with the link in the description box down below and protect your assets. One of the most important things that you'll ever do with your wealth is protect it. I asked someone who is interested in working with the channel. His name's Dan, and you guys will probably be hearing about him. I asked him because he kind of takes a conservative approach to people building wealth in crypto. I was like, okay, great, that's kind of what I do. I asked him, what's more important, wealth generation or risk prevention? And he said, risk prevention, hands down. And I firmly agree. Wealth gained by vanity will soon be diminished, the Bible says. When we don't protect ourselves, that's vanity. In other words, it's foolishness. So if we don't protect the wealth that we have, that means we're not being a good steward of the wealth that we have. And so why would we get any more? Because if we're not protecting the wealth we have, eventually we're going to end up losing it. And you're going to go back to square one. So it's a great idea to sign up for Upholds Vault. Make sure to check them out with the link in the description box down below. All right. Joey Van Englenberg in chat said, hi, Jeb, bit late, but I'm here. Normally from the Netherlands, but at the moment in Mexico. So greetings from Mexico, brother. Muy bien. Muy bien. Es muy bella en Mexico. Very beautiful down there. Very beautiful down there. We'll read a little bit of chat, and then we'll keep it moving here, guys. Jeb, last time you talked about 3 White Soldiers formation, Bitcoin tanked. Did it? When was that? I mean, it may have, it's true. Sometimes the 3 White Soldiers formation can be printing essentially a bear flag. I don't think that's what's happening in this case, but it can happen. It can happen. When was the last time that happened? The last time I see a 3 White Soldiers formation was right here. It normally shows up in the middle of a trend. You see? 3 White Soldiers formation, boom, 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 1, 2, 3. Normally 3 White Soldiers shows up in the center of a trend. It can show up in the beginning of a trend, but a lot of times it shows up in the middle. Had an uptrend coming into it, had an uptrend coming out of it. If you're moving bearish and then a 3 White Soldiers formation happens, like we just saw right now, it can end up being a bearish reverse, a bearish continuation pattern, but it's not necessarily. So, again, it happens. Nothing's for sure in technical analysis, but more often than not, 3 White Soldiers is bullish. Roll Hendricks in chat. Shout out to you. Jeff Tomasek said, Jeb is speaking the truth. Listen to him. Thank you. 93 votes. 66% of you say no, that you do not purchase Bitcoin on a fixed schedule. It is one of my missions to change that statistic to 100% of you say yes, you buy it on a fixed schedule. That is how the United States stock market is worth $35–40 trillion. Is because people buy it every month out of in their pension or in their 401k or in their retirement. That's how they do it. They build wealth that way. They do it on a fixed, consistent schedule. And so if you want to build wealth in cryptocurrency or in anything, put it on a schedule. One day, I plan on having a schedule for when we're buying rental properties. Once a year, buying a single-family house. One day, once every 3 months, we're buying an apartment complex, whatever it may be. It is our full intention to become real estate investors. We're not there yet, but that's our plan, is to become real estate investors. Obviously, naturally, we own our own property. It's increased by, well over 10% since we bought it just 2 years ago. We bought it in a really good place with the plan of it one day being a rental property and with the intention of it being in a market that's growing. This market is exploding around us. I mean, the town that we're in is growing by like 25% over the last 2 years. It's crazy. So, but we're going to be doing that on a fixed, consistent schedule. And as we save up to buy our first rental property, we'll be putting money into that account on a fixed, consistent schedule. So, if you want to build wealth, how do you do it? Consistently. That's how you do it. Consistently. You've got to do it consistently, or don't do it at all. It's the same thing with the gym. How do you build muscle? Consistently. How do you study God's word? Consistently. It's not about that one time you read the Bible for 8 hours in a day. It's about whether you do it every day. It's not about whether you went to the gym for 4 hours one time or you ran a marathon that one time. It's about whether you do it 3 days a week, 4 days a week. And it's not about whether you put a little bit of money into investments today. It's about whether you do it every month. So consistently invest. Consistently build your wealth. That is the 5th law of money, to save and invest consistently. I'm thinking about changing the wording there. Save and invest consistently, so that the word consistent is actually in the law of money, because that's the only way to do it. All right, guys, I also want to let you know about one of our sponsors, which is Crypto.com. Shout out to Crypto.com. Very, very excited for you guys to be hearing about Crypto.com. If you have not already, you should sign up with the link in the description box down below. Here's the reason. They have all of the cryptocurrencies that you're going to need. They have over 20 fiat currencies that you can purchase in. So wherever you are in the world, Crypto.com is your place. They are the leader in regulatory compliance and security certifications, which are very, very important. Regulatory compliance, so they don't get shut down or have some kind of sideball or a curveball come in from the regulators, and security certifications to keep you safe from hackers and thieves. And they're trusted by over 100 million users worldwide for a good reason. They're the simplest, most user-friendly way to invest in Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. So make sure to sign up for Crypto.com with the link in the description box down below. All right, we're going to read chat here for a minute, and then we're going to wrap it out. Really appreciate all of you guys for tuning in. Ethereum ETF should be happening this week by Friday. Potentially. We still don't know just yet, but it should be happening very soon. All the S1 applications are in. All right. Shadrach Frost in chat. Yeah, we're gonna, let's see. Can one of our moderators delete that message? The message is hiding behind the emojis. Let's see. Let's go ahead and remove that message. That's some nonsense. That's some nonsense. Somebody's dead. Have some respect, my friend. That's disgusting. All right. Let's read a little bit of chat. 90s creator said once a month. Good job. Good deal. But DCA can be done via other ways than just by time. It can be. You can. I would love to hear your other method, Niels. What I will say is that it's got to be habitual. Shadrach Frost said, apologies, missed it while working, sir. No, that's all right. It's all good. I got it. Yeah, we're just we're not going to disrespect the dead. That's just not going to be something that we're going to do in our chat. Not happening. All right. Let's see. We're going to go for a couple more minutes here, and then we're going to wrap it out. I do appreciate all of you for tuning in. It is always a great pleasure to be here with you. Shadrach Frost said, folks, let's hit that like button now. It only takes a second and truly supports this channel. Let's show Jeb some love and appreciation for all that he brings to us every day. Thanks, friends. Yes, absolutely, guys. The like button does help. I really appreciate all of you for being here. Yeah, so in conclusion, I feel like I'm writing a school essay. In conclusion, you know, like, how do you write an essay? Oh, 5 paragraphs in conclusion. In the beginning, you know. In conclusion here, Bitcoin has had a very bullish weekend for very wrong reasons. But it nevertheless has had a bullish weekend, and we need to acknowledge that because we're analysts and we got to follow the facts. And so I think that Bitcoin has a strong chance now of actually going and breaking above $63,000, which it's kind of trying to do that at the moment. It's right there at about 63 right now. There's a very high likelihood that it's going to be able to do it. And so I want to encourage you guys to start dollar cost averaging if not already. And it's also not a bad idea to put a lump sum in. Put a lump sum in. That's one of the signals that I give you guys here on the channel is, hey, now's a decent time to put some cash in to do something on top of the dollar cost averaging. So if you want to put an extra cash position in, say, hey, I'm investing $1,000 a week, $100 a week. I'm gonna put a $10,000 in or $1,000 in. Now's not a bad time to do that. Again, if you're gonna hold it for a very long time. If it rejects, Crypto Independent said, I'm looking at a price target as low as $49,000. That is possible. Obviously, it could come down here. At the moment, I don't suspect that. It's possible, but I think it's less likely than a small rejection. So we'll keep you updated, though. So make sure you tune in. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Hit the post notification bell so you're updated every time a video comes out. And stay tuned because we have a video coming out this afternoon. I hope you have all enjoyed today's episode. I'm going to wrap it out. Before I go, I do just first want to thank each and every single last one of you for watching, as always. And I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.